Hey, my name's Anna and I like to read, and in this video I'm going to be talking about my favorite books of 2019. For this video I chose 10 books that I really enjoyed reading this year and that I wanted to mention and discuss on my channel. The first book that I wanted to mention was The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, which follows a bisexual lord named Henry Montague, or Monty for short, as he goes on a grand tour of Europe with his best friend and secret crush Percy and his sister Felicity. They get into a lot of mayhem, and this is an adventure story, but what is also great about this book is that it doesn't shy away from rough topics such as xenophobia, ableism, sexism, racism, and homophobia, all of which were relevant in this time period, but a lot of historical fiction books skip over these important topics. So I really enjoyed this book. And the next book that I wanted to mention was The Gentleman's Guide to Getting Lucky, which follows Percy and Monty as they try to navigate their relationship after they get together at the end of the first book. This was a cute and funny read, and it was very quick, and I really like this book. And the next book that I want to mention is Red, White, and Royal Blue, which follows Henry, who is a Prince of Wales, and Alex, who is the first son of the President of the United States. And they have a rivalry. They don't like each other, and they get into an altercation, and there has to be damage control, and they have to pretend that they're friends, and they eventually form a friendship, and they eventually form a romantic relationship. I really like this because this book is an alternate timeline for the 2016 election, and this book also has a very diverse set of characters, and it mentions important rough topics just like The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, but in modern time. So I really enjoyed reading this book. The next book I read and enjoyed and want to mention is With a Fire on High, and this follows Imani, who is a teenager, and she is a teen mom, and she loves to cook. And this is set in Philadelphia, which, fun fact, I did a master's last year in Philadelphia, so I really thought that that was interesting to read about. But anyway, this book was very good, and it discussed important topics and issues. And what I liked about this book is that the teen dad is involved, and not just the teen mom. And we get to see the inner mind of Imani and how she struggles to be a teen mom and also go to school and have good grades, and her relationship with her grandma and her cultural identity is explored in this book, and her relationship with her father and her parents and her mother. Everything is really great about this book. I really enjoyed this book. After I read The Poet X, I wanted to check this out, so this was also great, and I can't wait to read whatever she writes next. So the next book I want to mention is Children of Blood and Bone, which is a fantasy book, and this follows Zelly, and in her kingdom magic has been banned, and they cannot perform magic, and magi are killed, and she goes on an adventure with a princess and the prince, and they have to bring, I believe she's destined to bring magic back. This was a very good book, and it is even though it's fantasy, it's relevant to our society today because it explored topics that are parallel to institutional racism, and I thought this was a very interesting and fast-paced story that I couldn't put down. I actually had to read this for a class in grad school, and I probably would not have picked it up by myself because I'm not a big fantasy person, but I actually really like this book, and I can't wait for the second one. I know it came out in December, but I haven't read it yet. So yeah. And the next book I want to mention is I Wish You All the Best, which follows a non-binary teen after they get kicked out for coming out as non-binary, and they have to move in with their sister and the sister's partner, and this was a very quick and really good book. I think this is one of the first books that has a non-binary character, and I really enjoyed reading the main characters, Benji's, their thoughts and processes after being kicked out of their house and having to live with their sister. And I also like to read about the family dynamic between Benji and their sister Hannah, and Hannah's boyfriend Thomas, I believe that was his name, and how Benji felt betrayed um, by Hannah. And I really enjoyed reading about the family dynamic in this book, um, and a sibling relationship, and how at the end of this book things weren't all solved, and not everything was like pitch perfect or whatever. Like it showed the reality of things and the reality of coming out as non-binary, and it was really good. Um, and I liked how it had a hopeful ending, but it didn't like have a rainbow or pitch perfect ending. Yeah. Okay. And the next book I wanted to mention was Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell, which is a graphic novel set at a pumpkin patch. And there are these two friends named Josie and Deja, and they're only seasonal friends. And this is the last time they will be at the pumpkin patch because they're seniors and they're graduating. And um, Josie is sad about that, and Deja wants him to tell the girl that he likes her, because this is the last time they'll all be at the pumpkin patch, and the girl that he likes also works at the pumpkin patch. So this book follows the whole their whole night at the pumpkin patch as they try to find that girl and have him tell her that he likes her. And this book is, I really like the way the pages were drawn. The art is very good, and it's very pretty. See, and I also liked the the romantic relationship and the friendship that was explored in this book. And this book was also diverse, as it had a diverse set of characters. And okay, next book that I wanted to mention was For Vanishing by Kate Alice Marshall. And this is a thriller, and it's basically a Blair Witch Project meets Stranger Things, sorta. And so basically, there's this legend that Lucy Gallo appears once a year, and Sarah's sister Becca, she disappeared trying to find Lucy Gallo, and she went into the woods, and then Becca, she gets lost. Nobody can find her, and so Sarah tries to find her sister, and she enrolls her classmates, and they decide to try to find her. And one night they go out into the woods, and in the woods this road opens, and they decide that they're gonna go on this road, and that they're gonna try to find Becca. And that turns into a nightmare because this book is a thriller, so yeah. Uh, this is a very in my opinion, this was pretty scary, but this is the first thriller I read, so I heard different reviews. I heard that this is like a baby thriller, but if you haven't read thrillers, this is pretty scary, and I couldn't put it, even though it was scary, I couldn't put it down. It was really interesting, and I wanted to know what was going to happen next. And I really like the writing, and I like how this book also featured a diverse set of characters. But the one thing that I felt kind of off, even though this was one of my favorite books of the year, was the ending. Kind of was like, what? Okay, that was it. Yeah. But overall, I liked this book. And then the next book I want to mention is Technically You Started It by Lana Wood Johnson. And this features a guy named Martin and a girl named Haley. And so Martin texts Haley asking her something after an AP exam, and she thinks that she's talking to another Martin, not the Martin that is actually texting her. And they start to text each other, and then they form a friendship and a romantic relationship eventually. I thought this book was really cute, and I like the fact that this book featured a demisexual character and also a bisexual character as well. So, and it was a very cute and quick read because it's all written in text messages. So I really enjoyed reading this book. And the final book that I want to mention is Mooncakes by Wendy Zhu and Suzanne Walker, which is also a graphic novel. And this features a teen witch named Nova Huang and a werewolf named Tam Lang, who is non-binary, and they used to be friends, but then Tam disappeared. But then one night she comes back and they have to solve a case, and this is a very cute and fast, quick read, but it's also great because I really like the art style. The drawing was very well done in my opinion, and also the story was great, and it also features it features diverse set of characters, as Nova is bi and Tam is non-binary, and also Nova has two grandmas, and this was a very good book, and it also talks about topics such as family and leaving family. Even though this is a fantasy graphic novel, it also mentions and discusses family relationships and leaving family behind and starting your own life. And I thought this was a very cute and great story, but also had a deeper meaning behind it at times. So yeah, so if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and you'll see me in another video soon. Bye bye.